Saga, and I am hoping that if anyone else is trying to restore an AGA, that this video will be helpful. In this case, I was looking for a wood burning stove, even secondhand off Marketplace. I just wasn't able to find anything that was affordable. Wood burner, even in a used condition, was going to be thousands of dollars. I would still have to go through the time of effort of transporting and installing it, which is crazy. So when this thing came up completely for free, I was very interested. I was like, what is an AGA? And I went down a bit of a rabbit hole and did some research and found out that it's got quite an interesting history. Suggest you look that up. And basically this thing here was designed to really efficiently burn coal inside someone's home, which is extraordinary, like a little small coal combustion stove. It was designed to have a really high thermal mass and to retain heat and to cook several different things at the same time. So you've got boiling plate, hot oven, and then a simmering plate and a cooler oven. Using smokeless fuel anthracite. Of course, that is not so easily available these days and was not going to work for me. I'm not even sure it's legal in my area to burn anthracite. I wouldn't be game to do it inside my house because that gets very hot. Nonetheless, I thought, I wonder if I could convert this into the wood stove that I was originally wanting. And I am actually very happy with how it turned out in the end. This thing is a beast. It weighs, I think, around 300 kilos. It did take 6 strong men to get it onto the trailer, drive it home, and then some sort of creative systems to get it into where it's going to be located, which is not inside my house, but it's in a greenhouse extension. So the first issue I discovered when I was doing this is that it is in fact filled to the brim with clay and diatomaceous earth. So it was about 5 hours of removing this powder and putting it into about 20 garbage bags. So that was an absolute nightmare. But once that was done, everything, I have to say, did come apart pretty easily. And I was really happy that the internal barrel and the main components were intact, because if there had been a hole inside that, it probably wouldn't have been worth my time. However, it was perfectly intact, so that was fantastic news. And all the parts were there, solid and still working. Even had a little bit of the original anthracite in the barrel, which is interesting. There were a few bits, however, that did have some holes in it, so that had warped a little bit, that needed to be sealed up, which was basically the chimney box where it connects to the flue. So this had to be welded. There was no other way to get it to come together perfectly and not fill my greenhouse with smoke. So you can weld cast iron using stainless steel wands, but you want someone to hold a blowtorch for you to heat up the metal for a little bit before you start the weld. Otherwise it went pretty easily. Pretty happy with the weld results, and we're able to seal it back together, along with replacing all the nuts, bolts and screws with new ones from the shop. So there's just the stainless steel wands we used. There you go, there's the weld, looking very good. So that's the weld there. The other thing to do is to make the barrel larger by reducing the boiling plate, and this gives you more space for wood, because wood takes up more space than the anthracite. You can see that's come off nicely there, and that's cast iron, so now at least I can lift it as well, which was good. So then the other thing that needed to be done was where the smoke travels. So anthracite, being a largely smokeless fuel, could travel through that tiny little hole there. That was not going to be the case for wood. So the answer to that was basically just to cut this open and open it up so the smoke could travel out nicely through the flue. So we've done that just like that, and that is working well. Because it burns so hot, there isn't as much smoke as you may expect. So the smaller flue chamber and size is not a problem if you just make sure you get it really hot. The metal rods also had to be replaced. The metal rods that go from the bottom to the top, they all had to be replaced with new rods, along with, like I said, the bolts and screws and the insulation. So you can see I've just used a ceramic wool insulation, because no way am I filling it back up with dust. Oh my goodness. Then just cleaning it up, just using sulfuric acid to clean all the bits of rust off, and to polish it back up, just detergent on the enamel, which came up beautifully, as you can see. What I didn't manage to solve is actually loading the chamber. So it does need to be top loaded, and basically restricts the type of wood that I could put in it. But because I'm harvesting from a eucalypt gully near my house, my property, it's not hard for me to get branches that are that size. So it doesn't really bother me too much, but an alternative to that would be, I did experiment just using charcoal lumpwood. That's an example there. So you can use that as well instead. But obviously the eucalypt wood is free and it gets it nice and hot. So just by leaving the bottom door open and adding more oxygen in, I can definitely get to the temperatures I want. The insulation probably doesn't work as well, but yes, you can see it is cooking my pizzas and drying my clothes and producing really delicious food. The oven gets to about 350 degrees Celsius according to my thermometer, and the pizza coming out is delicious. So very happy with how it turned out. I've been using it pretty frequently during winter. Obviously it does get extremely hot, so I won't be using it in summer, but overall I'm sorry about the quality of the video. This is just me sort of trying to do my best with bits and pieces as I was in the middle of restoring this. But do write comments or send me a message if you want any more information. If you're looking to do the same thing, I think there's a really good blog online as well. So yeah, I hope this was helpful to you, and I hope you enjoy your AGA if you are restoring it. Just another thing to note, as mentioned before, this is not in my house. This is an extension, so a little bit of smoke and heat isn't disturbing me too much. I would probably be more concerned in the house. And again, it gets very, very hot, so do be cautious when opening and closing. Lots of protective gear and all of that. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video and that it was helpful to you.